I thought we would use a little African colour and passion to commence our video today. Throughout life, we are faced with questions for which we must find answers. Some are crucial, important, and life-changing. What career will I choose? Where will I live? With whom will I share my life? Others may have little consequence attached to them. Shall I wear a blue or a red shirt? What should I have for dessert tonight? The answers to some questions will have lifelong and eternal ramifications, and our response needs to be considered thoughtfully. We seem to be living in an era where people shun answers that have consequential impact. It may well be that the course of history can come down to one person's answer to a question. On a personal basis, the course of our life can hinge on our answer to a question Jesus posed. Henry Francis Lyte was the writer of the immortal hymn, "Abide with me, fast falls the eventide." He was also the writer of our opening song, and he catches something of the consequences to the affirmative answer to a question when he writes, "Jesus, I my cross have taken, all to leave and follow thee." Such an answer is costly, and never at any time did Jesus discount the cost of discipleship.
When Jesus came into the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, "Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" So they said, "Some say John the Baptist, some Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered and said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man will come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he will reward each according to his works.
This chapter in Matthew 16 holds some of the most thought-provoking and pivotal challenges Jesus ever posed. Any serious seeker after God must read this portion of the Bible with great seriousness and focus. Within these verses is the essence of authentic discipleship, and no genuine disciple can just skip lightly over the words of Jesus here. Here we are confronted with two of the most crucial scenarios in our Christian pilgrimage. That of identification. Who do you say that I am? And that of commitment. Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me. There is a sequence and priority here we dare not miss. There is a confrontation of identification as to who Jesus Christ really is, and then the call to commitment to take up our cross. The sequence is crucial. We need to know for whom we carry the cross. First, we must thoughtfully answer the question posed by Jesus, "But who do you say that I am?" And then give an introspective response to the call to carry the cross in verse 24. Both will determine our life's direction and our eternal destiny. Jesus' question to his disciples in Matthew chapter 6 and verse 15, "But who do you say that I am?" is perhaps the greatest question in human history. A question every person must answer, whether or not they are cognitively aware of it. We can, of course, ignore the question. However, the reality of life is that questions ignored find their own answers. I am driving along and my wife notices the fuel gauge in the car is bordering on empty, and she says to me, "Are you going to get fuel at the next service station?" Now, I can ignore the question, but that does not obviate the outcome. We will eventually run out of fuel and the engine will stop. Throughout the course of human history, the way to God has been complicated by highly complex doctrine and theological jargon. Earlier in the 16th chapter of Matthew, Jesus counsels his disciples against the elaborate and extravagant doctrine of the Pharisees and Sadducees. He then attempts to focus their thinking on just one issue. Who do you say I am? Here is the question to which all true seekers after God must respond. The step on the path to freedom Jesus offered is an authentic and fundamental belief in him. Although Jesus solicits public opinion from his disciples, that is not the main focus of his dialogue with them. There is a sense in which Jesus wants his followers to think through who he is and use their natural intelligence to arrive at a logical and rational decision of who he really is. Authentic spirituality involves more than just the spiritual side of our being. We need to engage our intellect, our reason, and volition when it comes to recognizing who Jesus really is. Response from a merely emotional or spiritual basis is shaky ground, for sooner or later someone will come along with a rationale and a logical argument that may well shake our faith. There is no dichotomy between the question of Jesus in Matthew 24:15 and the call to cross-bearing in Matthew 24, verse 24. Like many crucial questions, the response to Jesus' very direct query of his disciples requires not only a verbal response, but also a committed physical action. They would, because of their affirmation to him as Messiah, the Son of God, be called upon to commit themselves to his way of life, to take up their cross and follow him. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." The authentic disciple must first and foremost respond to Jesus' question and come into a practical understanding of who Jesus is and what being a disciple not only means, but also what it may cost if they wish to be effective in their ministry. The cause of Christ is not helped by disciples who are ignorant, unprepared, or unwilling to sacrifice. Hence the very personal challenge of Jesus. Who do you say I am? When we affirmatively answer this question, we are confronted by the call to carry the cross. There is a sense in which the authentic disciple needs to respond regularly to this call. Daily self-denial is a challenging and exacting task, for it requires much more than the martyr's heroic sacrifice. The martyr's sacrifice in a moment of great crisis is a noble act, but perhaps it requires a greater cost in the ongoing, stable, and often lonely sacrifice of self over long years. It may well be more challenging and difficult to live for God than to die for him. To take up the cross is hard enough, but to carry it day by day to a place of crucifixion is harder.
When Jesus gave his all for me,
I walked one day along a country road, and there a stranger journeyed too, bent low beneath the burden of his load. It was the Christ, the one I knew. I cried, "Lord Jesus," and he spoke my name. I saw his hands all bruised and torn. I stooped to kiss away the marks of shame, the shame for me that he had borne. Take up thy cross and follow me. blessed Savior come. How can I make a lesser sacrifice when Jesus gave his all? Oh, let me bear the cross, for thee I cried, and lo, a cross for me appeared, the one for God and I had cast aside, the one so long that I had feared. Now this cross I will carry till a crown appears. The way I journeyed soon shall end. Then God himself will wipe away each tear, and friend will fellowship with friend. Take up thy cross and follow me. I hear the blessed Savior call. How can I make a lesser sacrifice when Jesus gave? Oh, Jesus gave, my Jesus gave his all.
Jesus gave his all.
There is a real danger that this call to carry our cross is expounded so regularly that the familiarity robs it of its profound significance. It is among the most difficult passages in the Bible. Human nature rebels against it. It flies in the face of our basic human instincts. Difficult as it may be, it is not a passage we can glibly ignore. This passage is included in 3 of the 4 Gospels. Therefore, we must conclude that it was crucial and still is essential to all that Jesus was about. We must come to the point, whether we like it or not, that it is within the essence of what being a Christian is all about. The offer of Jesus is not wealth and riches, as the proponents of prosperity theology would have us believe, but a cross with all its associated suffering and pain. The words of Jesus to take up the cross and follow him are concise and direct, and the outcome is confronting. If you refuse to take up your cross and follow me, you are not worthy of being mine. He speaks quite openly and plainly of giving up all rights to our own life for him and finding meaning and purpose in him. Make no mistake, Jesus is confronting his followers with martyrdom and nothing less. Unquestionably, a person carrying a cross was on his way to die. The people to whom he spoke were well aware of this reality, and there is no way he sugarcoats the issue, and we find repeated instances of these words throughout the Gospel. The symbolism of the cross of Jesus Christ has permeated centuries, enmeshed itself in cultures, and survived the onslaught of dictators and tyrants. There is something intrinsic and mystical about it that defies human logic and rationale. There is something inherent in its symbolism that intrigues yet puzzles us. That we should be called to share it is a privilege and not a burden.
Oh, to see the dawn of the darkest day, Christ on the road to Calvary, tried by sinful men, torn and beaten then, nailed to a cross of wood. And oh, to see the pain. Oh, to see the pain written on your face, bearing the awesome weight of sin, and every bitter thought, and every evil deed, crowning your blood-stained brow. This the power of the cross. Christ became sin for us, took the blame, and bore the wrath we stand forgiven at the cross. And now the daylight flees, now the ground beneath quakes as its maker bows his head, and curtain torn in two, dead raised to life, finish the victory cry. This the power of the cross. Christ became sin for us, took the blame, and bore the wrath we stand forgiven at the cross. Will you stand with us? Oh, to see my name written in the woods, for through your suffering I am free, and death is crushed to death, life is mine to live, one through your selfless love. There's the power of the cross, Son of God, slain for us. What a love, what a cost, we stand forgiven at the
In this chapter of Matthew, Jesus calls us to a confrontation of identification, a confrontation with self in declaring who we believe he is. Here is the eternal question and the priority we are challenged to answer. Jesus may have commenced his conversation with his disciples with something of a general question. Who do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? However, he soon personalizes it, for that is the crucial issue. But who do you say that I am? Every true seeker after God must confront and answer this question before they can respond to the call to carry the cross. Gospel singer Sherry Ann poses the question, "Who do you say I am? Am I just a prophet or an ordinary man? Do you believe I came to save the lost? Will you follow me at any cost? I want to know. Who do you say I am?" She then goes on to outline the consequences of a negative response to that question. The same question is being asked of you. Do you believe he is faithful and true? Will you deny his love for you? Will you deny him? And if you do, he'll say to you, "It is you I never knew."
He walked out on the sea in Matthew 14. Restored a bleeding woman crawling on her knees. He healed the lame and deaf and made the blind see. He died and rose again the morning of day 3. Jesus said to Thomas, "Touch me and believe, 'cause the only thing that matters to me is who do you say I am? Am I just a prophet or an ordinary man? Do you believe I came to save the lost? Will you follow me at any cost? I want to know, who do you say I am?" He came to dwell among us as the living word. He taught the greatest teaching men had ever heard. He speaks the words of life and set the captives free. He cast out demons, making evil spirits flee. Jesus is Messiah in Isaiah 53. But the only thing that should matter to you and me, he asked, who do you say I am? Am I just a prophet or an ordinary man? Do you believe I came to save the lost? Will you follow me at any cost? I want to know, who do you say I am? This same question is being asked of you. Do you believe he is faithful and true? Will you deny his love for you? Will you deny him? And if you do, he'll say to you, "It's you I never knew." Who do you say I am? Am I just a prophet or an ordinary man? Do you believe I came to save the lost? Will you follow me at any cost? I want to know, who do you say I am? Who do you say I am?